Yeah, this is a game-rich little valley right here, and boy, no way.
These elk are just popping up, you know, and I'm sitting there just drooling over, wow, look at that big old 6x6 down there.
Herd of elk, you know we've located 6 bulls, about 30 cows, and 2 of those bulls are very nice. 4 of them probably shooters. We're going to let you choose which one you want. And my suggestion is when we make that first visual contact with him, at that point, you make a reference. I'm after the one on the right, the one in the middle, the one on the far left.
It'll be, if there's a good, decent bull out to himself and there's brush and there's cover where I can get within shot range, he'll be who I go after. I had it in my mind. I knew right where these elk were going to be. We could just sit up there and just pick them off. Even in the darkness, I could smell the elk and I could hear the cows chirping, even though they were a long way off. And I'm sitting there in the dark and it's just a little bit of chill, and I could just feel the elk coming toward me because the intensity of the cows chirping, it was getting a little bit louder. Couldn't see them yet, but I could hear them and I could feel them and I could smell them. As it began to get a little bit lighter, I heard a bull just crank down, and he was giving all he had into his bugling. And the guide said, he's gathering his cows. He's calling them all together. They're going to come up the hill, and they're going to cut across here and go up in bed for the day. Elk came from everywhere. They started streaming out, maybe an old lead cow and calves and spiked bulls, raghorns, and everybody was talking. It was one of the most noisiest animal encounters I've ever seen. By then, there's several bulls bugling. One would bugle and it would just set off a chain reaction. And way on down the hills, the tail end of the herd that I haven't even seen yet. As they come filing out, I'm looking through the scope and I'm thinking, this is a lot of elk. How in the world would you ever shoot one of them? Because we had all these elk and they were all gathered together. No way could you shoot in amongst that herd without having fear of if you shot through one, you might hit 3 as dense as this herd of elk was. It was hypnotizing. Let me tell you, it was one of the most awesome sights that I've ever seen in the wild. A 9x9.
Bull down, bull down.
No, big bull down. Little bulls, big bulls, cows, calves. This place is elk central. It is totally infested in elk. I certainly hope I get to go back up there sometime. That's by far the biggest bull I've taken this year. It's by far the biggest bull I've taken in 2 or 3 years, actually. I'm looking, ain't he pretty? One of the most impressive things about this elk was the mass. I mean, and he carried the mass all the way out. I mean, he had the ivory tips on all 12 points. Look at them bases. I mean, that's 2 handfuls of base right there. Does it ever get old? No, the tramping up and down the mountain not seeing anything gets old to anybody real quick. But when there's a successful hunt, it's new all over again, every time. Look here, dog, you getting your picture made.